I thought it'd be fun to show you some of my favorite TikTok creators. Maybe it'll inspire you to start creating yourself by watching various TikToks and this sort of thing. It helps me create more. So let's take a look at the first one.
This is a fly as f*** Friday in your 40s. You literally never worked from home during 2020. So this Friday in the home office is a treat. The meetings were jam-packed from 8.
I love this guy. Just all these quick shots, and he does a voiceover, so he tells a story in the voiceover, so it could be nice and smooth. And he's a guy in his 40s, kind of like me.
30 until 2, a shout out in the company newspaper, a late lunch with the missus, and then you watch her take the vinegar sacks off of the faucet. There's a hole in your pants, she can't figure out what to wear and needs a kiss. You happily oblige, there's one more meeting, Puffy and Whiskers are early for dinner, and then you surprise pick up your kid at school to go get shots.
Honestly, of all these videos that I've watched of him, I just don't even know where he finds the time and how he creates what he does. Whether he's just bringing a tripod with him everywhere and setting it up, or he has someone there that we just don't know.
Pencils, Tostitos, and Chip City. Before back to the Bat Cave, through the playground, and the fire goes on. The buns are toasted before run to burrito spot, a burrito bowl, 3 tacos, large guacamole, and a homemade pizza for her, which is really frozen. Everyone relaxes before snack hour before bed. Because if Friday were a person, it would be Airplane the movie. I mean, it was one heck of a day overall. You took your sweet ass time in the morning before making waffles and giving out hugs and then going for a beautiful run down the river. 'Twas a cold one, but
he starts every day with a run and gets up at 4 a.m.
Saw Noel, swept the stoop, and when he walked in, Kelly was spying on a cardinal. And that's all it takes for you to say.
And that's it. Just inspiring video, and not sure how he does it, but so here I'll go to my next one here. This guy's out of Vancouver, Canadian. I think I even saw him flying a plane at one point.
Do you want to come on an adventure with me? Too bad. You're coming.
Do you want to go on an adventure with me? Too bad you're coming. And he just takes you on his adventure, and sometimes he's hiking up a mountain in the snow, or climbing a tree. Now he's going in the ocean, swimming around, and you get to see a lot of the landscape of Vancouver area.
Today we're gonna go try to find some purple starfish. Well, friends, apologies for the lack of starfish, but thanks for coming.
He always ends it, thanks for coming along, even though we didn't have a choice, but we stayed and watched the video. Okay, this guy always has the same format, always uses the green screen, always uses the same music. I'll just start it and you'll see what I mean, why I get inspired by him.
When I was your age, I already owned a house. Yeah, because it cost $6. Your down payment couldn't buy a Frosty at an airport Wendy's today. The last time houses were actually affordable was when college degrees were actually useful. Have you doom-scrolled Zillow lately?
So, this is something people say to me that have owned a house forever. Obviously disillusioned of the fact that you can buy a house.
Lately, I don't know if that's the price of a house or if the realtor's cat walked across the computer and sat on the 0 key. The only way to own a house now is to patiently wait for Mr. Beast to give you one. By the time I'm your age, the sun will have exploded. So who needs a house?
This next guy I follow, he's got so many great tips on food and the uses of the peels off of fruit, or how to grow things. He'll grow things in his house or wherever.
Did you know if you grab a papaya and peel off the skin, then cut it in half, scrape out the seeds and then chop off the flesh in chunks like these, and then boil it in a pot of water for about 5 minutes. Then take it off.
His camera shots and the editing and how he uses the quick energy, really engaging and inspiring to create videos like that, because I think we want to create videos that grab our attention and keep us engaged.
Off the heat, cover it, let it sit and cool off. Then dump the whole thing into a container.
Slow-mo. Awesome.
What you have right now is a super healthy, all-natural papaya water. This papaya water is packed with vitamins, has anti-cancer properties, good for digestion, relieves menstrual pain, protects the kidneys, helps with migraines and arthritis. Stick it in the fridge and drink it like normal water whenever you need it. They sell all these kind of things at the pharmacy, but you don't need to buy any of it. Papaya water is magic.
He's always ending the video like this. The next one, amazing storyteller, but they're all from his business experience, various places that he worked.
Sometimes my out-of-town friends will ask me, where's the best Mexican food in LA? Well, in 1985, I worked in a lumberyard in south central LA, serving the local contractors. It was a hard-working crew. And one of the best yard guys was Eddie, who was always helpful, always upbeat. And he'd come over the border 10 years before with nothing but determination. And he'd married a smart, thrifty woman, and he'd saved his money, and together they wound up buying an apartment building. It was an American success story. But a big local factory got shuttered, and a lot of Eddie's tenants lost their jobs and they couldn't pay the rent. But Eddie's wife was just adamant about not kicking anybody out because they couldn't find jobs if they were on the street. And there were a lot of kids in the building. So Eddie was in a tough spot, and he wound up asking this junior manager at the yard if he would maybe intercede with the owner, maybe get him a loan. And the kid was like, how much you need? And Eddie says $5,500, and the kid goes, oh, Eddie, that's not going to happen. You know the old man, he's not the type. But Eddie was desperate, because he was going to lose everything. So this kid says, I'll do the best I can. And the next day, I'm out by the mill, and this junior manager comes out and pulls Eddie aside and hands him this McDonald's bag filled with $5,460. No note.
I love the way that he builds suspense and the way that he tells the story. It just keeps us engaged the whole time. Just really good tips for me when I'm creating.
Just the money. And he says, listen, the old man says you can't tell anyone. If people find out he's a soft touch, everybody's going to have their hands out. So keep your mouth shut. Don't even talk to him about it. When you're flush again, you pay it back to me. I'll give it to him. You understand? But I don't think Eddie actually heard any of that because he was too busy having an out-of-body experience. But anyway, a few months later, everything was good. The apartment was back in the black, and we were all at the company picnic. And I was sitting with the junior manager, and I said to him, the tip-off was the amount, $5,460. That was your money. And he didn't say anything. But a couple of minutes later, he goes, oh, no. And what's he looking at? I look up and I see Eddie and his wife walking up to the yard owner with a McDonald's bag. And they talk to him for a minute and they hand him the bag, and the old man looks at it and shakes his head and hands it back. And they suddenly realize, yeah, the old man doesn't know anything about the money. And Eddie and his wife look back at this junior manager with an expression I can't honestly describe. And I said to him, you know what, you're good people. And he says, I didn't do it because I'm good people. I did it because they are. And I can swear that that guy got the best Mexican food in LA for probably the next 10 years.
Almost gives you shivers. Oh man, it's powerful stuff. This next lady, she's called out on various jobs and she works with bees, and people will call her to relocate some bees that have found themselves in a spot. It's always well done, and it's sort of interesting to see the journey and how these bees are relocated.
A huge colony of bees was living under this old playground equipment, so I started to carefully pull up the floor, and underneath I found a beautiful beehive full of very gentle bees. So I shook the bees off the floorboards and into the new hive. Then I started to remove the comb and search for the queen. I saved all of the pieces of the original hive, and I carefully put them into the new hive for the bees. But this was a really large colony, and the bees had built a lot of comb, which was full of bee food and baby bees, so it took me a while to remove it all and to get all of the pieces into the new hive. When I had removed all of the comb, I started scooping up bees and putting them into the new hive.
Crazy how no gloves, mask, nothing, flying in there with her bare hands.
And after a lot of scooping and searching, I found the queen surrounded by her group of attendant bees. So I put her in a clip and into the new hive. Then I gave the bees some smoke, and they all started to run away from the smoke and into the new hive, and the entire colony joined their queen, and it was another great day of saving the bees.
It comes up on my feed and I just like watching that journey. Oh, this last one here, another Canadian, but just a real go-getter type young guy. He's trying to build an electric logging truck.
So Elon Musk told his Twitter employees that they need to do extremely hardcore work or leave. In his words, he requires all of his employees to work long hours at high intensity. If they don't like it, they can leave. So how about we compare and contrast this to the Edison Motors employment policy? Here's the employment contract we've been using for the last year. Mainly page 2 here. Pause if you'd like to read it first. So we do the standard 4% government top-up for the vacation bonus, but then we offer unlimited days off, and we don't care when or why you take those days. And I'm serious, I don't care when people take the time off or what reason they take it off for. If you're sick or a buddy's coming to town or it's just a nice day and you want to go fishing out on the lake, you take that day. People all have things outside of work they want to do. As long as those important tasks are getting done, I think they should be free to go do the things that they want to do. What's the point of living just to work? And it works great for Edison Motors. We get great things done in really short, quick amounts of time because our employees work really hard when they're here because they want to be here. Or we could be like Twitter, where most of the employees just said, screw this, I'm leaving.
You get to see part of his life and the journey that he's on. Very basic editing. I hope you enjoyed this journey with me and were inspired like I am. I don't know what it is, but I just want to try to create more instead of consume. I'd like to do another reaction video soon, so please follow me on TikTok at Jake Russell Realtor. And if there are any TikToks that you think I'd be interested in or inspired you, tag me and send those comments to me. I'd love to do a reaction video to that as well and include you in it. Bye.